Hallo, assalamu alaikum, good morning, khushamdi, ji ayanu, goeiemorgen, ishpata.
Paher agele, ni hao, chule shumme, washwale, ohio gonzaimes, guten morgen, hola, bonitore, buna, mucho, gracias, suabia, bali keraya. And thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning into PTV World. You're watching World this morning on a very fantastic, good weather morning over here in Islamabad, alongside the very fantastic, the very amazing, the very superb, the very talented, the very exuberant, the very excited, Ms. Shiza Hashmi and Shahzad Hassan Khan. Hello, Shiza. How are you doing on a very fine Monday morning over here in Islamabad?
I'm doing absolutely great. You know it because it's the weather, right? I mean, here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. So the app does not say it's going to rain. I mean, not until midnight, but I feel like it is because it's foggy, yes, but it's also cloudy. I don't see the sun, and that is like my absolute favorite weather. What do you think about it? Is it going to rain? Let's bet.
You know, I think that it's going to rain, and the reason is because while I was driving to work, I could see that there were a few drops on my windscreen as well.
Oh.
So I think that it's going to rain. But right now, ladies and gentlemen, the weather is just really need to do it. Go somewhere, have a cup of coffee, and you will feel great as well. And yes, I think it's 50% because of the weather outside that I feel so energetic. I feel as if I'm at the top of my energy as well. But today, early in the morning, I went through a very different scenario. And I think this is something I want to share with the people out there as well, with all our audiences in 46 different countries. So as soon as I woke up, I could hear that, there was somebody shouting in the street. And I was like, okay, probably, if it's, I think that it was two people who were arguing. And then eventually, I could just hear some rumbling sounds as well. And I thought that as if somebody has started to beat somebody else as well. So to my surprise, I just woke up, because I was just taking my time. Okay, I'm going to get up, and as soon as the noises got louder, I was like, okay, I probably need to see, man. So as soon as I opened up my door, this is just within your own street, right in front of your house, your own driver, your staff, your domestic staff is actually fighting with each other.
Why?
And I was like, what are you guys doing? Please don't do this. And so I had to go down and, be with them as well. And I was asking, what happened? So the other person was like, okay, is your shift over or not? And, all of that was going on. But there was this one thing which I wanted to share with everybody, that if you cannot protect the other person from your own tongue or from your own hands, there's no point of your existence. Please make sure that every time you're in conversation, even if there's an argument, make sure that you do not say something which is very resentful or hurtful as well. And please, at least don't hit anyone. Don't do that.
That's just another level.
It's not going to take you anywhere. Please don't do that. Please make sure that people are protected from your tongue and from your hands.
I think that's a beautiful message. And so here's the thing. We did not think about, I feel different types of people, right? Naturally, I mean, people inherit different type of attitude or how to just, interact with people.
Yeah.
You have a personality that I can't even imagine having, and you know about it, right? But that does not give you the reason, or, it does not allow you to put your personality as a justification to what you will do to others.
Yeah.
So, like you said, I mean, you cannot literally harm someone with your hands or your tongue.
Yeah.
Exactly. If you're having a bad day, if you're having a bad moment or a mood or just a bad personality for that matter, don't make that an excuse to hurt someone, right?
Yeah. Please don't do that, even though it was funny a little bit as well. And, towards the end, I was like, okay, you guys need to hug each other and, shake hands. That's fantastic. But I have another question for you as well. These are two things which I went through over the weekend as well. So imagine that I was sitting somewhere and, all of a sudden this cup of tea was brought to me. Favor, cup of tea away. And I was like, dude, are you really kidding me? I didn't say anything. And then eventually I think that person realized that, okay, this was a very shameful act of theirs.
Obviously, I can't
So they
believe
sent me the cup of tea back, but I didn't take a sip then. I was like, okay, it's done, man. I'm not going to have it. What would you do in that situation?
Dude, first of all, this sounds fabricated because I cannot imagine a real grown-up man taking away tea after you say no to his family.
Oh my God.
I mean, I would probably laugh at it.
But you know what? I felt like snatching that cup of tea and just throwing that tea onto their faces. And then I was like, okay, Lamia, please give me that patience. But yes, alhamdulillah, I'm glad that I had that patience as well.
Yeah, and I think such situations do try to get the best of you, but you contained yourself. That's a good thing, because if you did reply the way you felt like, I think I would have disowned you as well. Yeah. Absolutely. But and about patience, just this morning I woke up after sort of completing enough sleep though. I slept quite early, as
even I did,
as it should be for a weekend. Anyway, I woke up and I'm just thinking, okay, I've taken 2 days off. Do I really want to go to work? And I almost felt like I don't feel like going to work.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, usually you use your phone early in the morning, right?
Yeah.
And I'm just, well, scrolling through my Instagram, Facebook, whatnot. I realized one thing. So over the past few weeks, Pakistani girls have been doing, well, have been making some loud noise on social media. Don't you feel so?
Exactly. I truly agree to that. Talking about Dananeen, and then, there's this other lady as well who actually did a wonderful job by making sure that she's going to bring pride to Pakistan. Ladies and gentlemen, imagine breaking a world record, and that too in ACCA examination. I think is one of the best things I've heard over the period of last few years as well, or last few days for that matter. But I want to come at this camera as well, that, early in the morning today when I woke up, I felt as if you're not going to come to work.
You
I
did?
felt,
Oh.
and then all of a sudden my phone rang and I was like, okay, it's going to be Shiza. But it wasn't Shiza, obviously, which is why she's here as well. But I felt, I got the vibe. But other than that, coming back to, I think, Shiza, when we speak about women over here in Pakistan, I think that they've done a wonderful job. May it be our cricket team, may it be our fighter pilots, may it be people like you as well, who wake up every single day and make sure to be at work, even though they have their entire household to look after. I think it's a wonderful thing, and a lot of women out there are taking inspiration.
Right, and I think this is the reason we had been getting a lot of messages from you guys on our social media pages as well. You guys wanted us to talk about ACCA in itself because, well, there was a curiosity going on, sorry for the tongue twister, a curiosity going on about, well, how to go about the degree, how to prepare. So like this is probably the most appropriate time to get our hands onto the head of ACCA in Pakistan to talk about or discover, let's say, all the possibilities and then scopes of any degree or diplomas related to
Professional accounting.
Professional account. Thank you so much.
No problem.
So we'll be doing that in the first segment.
So, ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, we were lucky enough that we've actually been joined by somebody who happens to be the head of ACCA Pakistan. Wow, wonderful in the first place. He is Mr. Sajid Aslam. Hello, assalamu alaikum. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm great. I'm great. Quite excited.
Are you?
Yeah, even we are excited as well because, whenever we see somebody with a degree ACCA, or if it says
we feel
head
dumb.
of ACCA Pakistan, we already know that the guy needs to be rich or the girl needs to be rich as well. Deep pockets, ladies and gentlemen. But other than that, obviously, because it's not going to help us in any way, I think we'll move on to Mr. Sajid over here. So, sir, held a lot of difficulty, and not just that, that a lot of people who weren't able to complete their degrees and they left the degree as well. Not just that, I think that, at the same time, there are people who are actually struggling to get their, you have to get some experience as well from a good, reputable audit firm as well. And these are the parts of difficulties. But before we delve into such kind of conversation, what I need to know is, for example, if I did my FSC or my A-levels, how should I think whether I am able to do a professional accounting degree or not? How should I do that?
Thank you. I think we have to take a step back here, and you started with the very interesting conversation, behaviors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? So I think it's the behavior which, on a very day one, determine that how you're gonna handle a certain situation.
Okay.
Your driver and your guard, and you intervene, right?
Yeah,
and
I
then
had
they
to.
ultimately they decided to work together and they resolve it, right?
Yeah.
So this is one of a behavior we are talking about. So behaviors are the first sign how you are going to approach a certain opportunity or a challenge. So we have to evaluate that. Number two, when we are making a career decision, we have to really understand the different kind of qualifications. So there are different kind of routes which people take. There's an academic route, people go through a certain regular university route, or people go through the professional qualification. And then ultimately, once somebody completes the professional qualification, there is a concept of equivalence of professional qualification and the academic qualification. Like if you look at ACCA in UK, in NAREC, which is the gold criteria when we do the evaluation or equivalence, ACCA membership is a 18-year, is equivalent 16-year education, which is used to call MCOM or
Masters
now,
even.
It's now, there's a different, the way the HEC has categorized it, but it's a 16-year equivalent qualification, right? So this is a professional qualification which is equated with the degree qualification through a certain frameworks by the regulator, education regulator. So somebody who has completed the metric or completed the intermediate or completed the bachelor's degrees or a master's degree and they decide to come to ACCA as a professional qualification, there are different entry routes,
Okay.
right? So let's look at the qualification structure, and then we will come to the entry routes to that. So ACCA qualification is based on exams.
Okay.
And then there is an ethics and the professional skills module. They have to really evaluate their competencies. And then there is a 36 months training. That's complete the qualification. So education is, those are the competencies. It's not the title, it's not only the designation of ACCA. Anybody who's carrying that designation has to reflect on those competencies, and those are the important ones. And if they don't, then it's a regulated profession. If they don't, they lose their qualification. It's not like a degree, you have earned it and it will stay with you.
So you have to qualify.
You have to first qualify and then maintain that designation. So you have to complete your 40 hours continuous professional development requirement. You have to reflect the right kind of behaviors.
All through your life?
All through your life.
Really?
As long
If you
as you
want
choose
to
to be
maintain
an accountant.
Otherwise the degree will be gone.
your title or designation will be gone.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
And then you'll have to renew it probably if you want to.
There's a code of conduct.
Okay,
So if you
okay.
breach the trust, right? If
that's
there is a breach of trust or breach of code of conduct, your qualification will be gone. That's the value.
Pakistan as
Have
well.
to
You guys
monitor.
look into, for all of those people who've graduated earlier or probably are working, and that you have to look into the code of conduct part of it.
Exactly.
And then whether they're maintaining
That-
the work hour regime as well.
Exactly. Or if you look at if there is a complaint around the conduct or behavior, that goes for the proper disciplinary action. And if there is a decision, that is published on the website. So it's not that it's only you know, people know that. And this is the beauty of the qualification. Now, if you are hiring a professional accountant, I'll come to the entry route later. If you are hiring a professional accountant, now you know you are not hiring a person who has to demonstrate a certain behavior or competency which they have acquired. There's a regulatory body who will be regulating them if they don't.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
And that's why these professional accountants or professional accounting leads to the statutory position. Because it's not only competency, it's the regulatory environment around that professional accountant where he has to demonstrate the certain behaviors, attitude, and competency consistently. They can't mess out on that.
Yeah.
So now coming to the entry route, how to really get into that.
Yeah.
So if you are matric or intermediate, there's a foundation diploma. So you start with the foundation diploma and then you enter into the ACCA. So there's 2 steps there. If you are joining after matric with the foundation diploma, you sit in another 3 paper and you get the Pakistan equivalence of intermediate. If you are already intermediate, you look at the foundation diploma and then you get a 3 papers exemption for the ACCA. If you are A-level, you are BCom, you are graduate, you start directly with the ACCA qualification, which is 13 exams.
Right.
And if you are coming from a university with a 4-year degree, which has got arrangement with the ACCA, like we talk about top 20 universities, ACCA has got an arrangement for up to 9 exemption. Not everybody has got a 9, but
Okay.
up to 9 exemptions. That means out of 13, they have already studied that content within their undergraduate relevant degree, and ACCA has worked with those universities to make sure that content is incorporated.
Okay.
So then they have to do the professional level exam, which are 4
Just 4
exams,
exams.
and then they become ACCA affiliate. And then they still have to go through EPSM
Training
and 36 months training.
All
So
right.
36 month training is mandatory.
But I think listening to this news that, 9 exams can be exempted, I think that's wonderful. So let's
I
talk
know.
about that as well.
Yeah.
So which degrees will actually help us, take away all of these unnecessary examinations, because we've already understood the concept of what you were trying to teach us.
So it's not that, again, it's not unnecessary exams. In fact, they have
No,
already
I said in
studied
our
them.
undergraduate program.
And
Yeah.
this is basically, ACC work with the university to create that curriculum and incorporate that required competency and content in the course. So normally BSc Finance and Accounting, BSc Finance, Accounting, Economics, these are the degrees which are being offered by certain accredited universities, and those are entitled for those kind of exemptions. So people who are planning to do that, they can join even before completing the degree. There is a concept called conditional exemption. So if they have achieved like 3 years within the degree, they can enroll themselves for ACCA exam, and by the time they complete the degree in a 1 year, they can complete the 4 exams as well. So once they complete the degree, they will be entitled for the next level for the training.
Exactly, and that's wonderful as well. But just very quickly, I don't know whether it's a myth or not, but this is something which I have always heard from people who were not to ACCA, for example. So there's there's an exemption within the CA examination as well, or vice versa as well, that, if you are into CA and you've done certain exams, so, you will get exemption from ACCA certain exams as well. Is that true?
Yep, there is a pathway arrangements which are available in Pakistan. There are certain pathway with ICMA Pakistan, ICAP, and there is a certain pathway arrangement vice versa.
Okay.
So if they are doing their courses, they can come and join ACCA based on a certain exemption framework. But that's not only for Pakistan. Even from ACCA, if you land in Australia, there's an arrangement you become a part of we call it CANZ, Chartered Accountant Australia and New Zealand Institute, just because there is a certain arrangement which ACCA has made. Similarly, it goes with, for Canada, it goes with ICAW. So there are many other institutes which have got a pathway arrangement with ACCA in the structure from one single body which is called IFAC. It's an institute of, it's a global body which regulate all these professional accounting body in terms of education, training, and monitoring as well, which I told about.
Right.
Like if people are not doing their right conduct or reflecting the right conduct, or they are not going through the right code of ethics, then it's not only the ACCA which will be challenging them, it's IFAC as a body will be challenging them as well.
I think this is really interesting, and this is how you also sort of maintain the quality of the work that you're doing. Now, because since we're short on time, I really want to move on to the next step. Now we're done in sort of the eligibility criteria and applying and everything. Now let's talk about once you've done or, well, cleared those exams and training, what happens next? Now, the good part is, ladies and gentlemen, when you talk about such a job where you have to sort of moderate the finances and audit for, well, different companies and businesses, this is something that needs to be done for each and every single business. So either you're hired, well, I don't know how do you say it, if you have a permanent spot at the company, or even if you want to, well, if you can be a part of that as a daily wager or a freelancer as well. So my question to you around all of this is, first of all, well, with some probably success stories, you can let us know about how Pakistanis are doing in this. And then how to make sure that you do land in something that you've been looking for in terms of probably a, well, multinational.
I think once you are, let's talk about the ACCA, and we talk about career zones we talk about, right? So there are 5 career zones based on our recent research, given that how the Generation Z is working, how the world is evolving, and post-COVID, how the scenario will evolve. So there are 5 key career zones which are coming up. There's an assurance side of it, audit and assurance, which we talk about. Then there's a business transformer, the people who pick up the business, they help to people who work on very deeply on the machine learning and data side of it, and they try to extrapolate how the things are going to move. They are digital playmaker, the people who are really developing the algorithms and the technology around it. And then there's a sustainability trailblazer, the people who are managing the businesses who are who leads to the sustainability, whether we talk about ESG or climate change and all that. They really evaluate how their current business is going to make sure that everything is sustainable.
I don't understand how that all comes under accounting, but
It's a career zone of a
Wow.
professional accountant,
Got
and
it.
there's a lot of research which is being developed, and a lot of content which is going in this overall qualification. So it's important when you are making a decision that which career zone you want to be in, and then you decide that which kind of organization you want to work with.
All right.
Right? So there are a lot of multinationals who really value this. How you're going to work on a sustainability, and you try to get to the organization which doesn't value it, that's a wrong match.
Do you get to choose, or does ACCA put you where you suit?
I think ACC creates the networking environment where the people manage to meet different employers and the businesses as well. And then given the technology, I think it has going beyond Pakistan. Now you don't have to really work for Pakistan only. With the digital and with the freelancing and with the consulting arrangement, with the ACCA practicing firm, you can work for any global organization while sitting in Pakistan.
Yeah, and you can work from home as well.
Yeah.
Which is why, very quickly, 2 last questions before we wrap up this segment as well, because it is, ladies and gentlemen, a very lucrative field as well. And from where she's actually mentioned that the quality is actually being looked after, I think I'm going to speak about that as well. That they say that, that firms like ACCA or, that number of people which is required in the market. So there's not going to be extra graduates for that matter as well, sitting probably and waiting for their jobs, number 1. Number 2, since a lot of my friends happen to be CA as well, and I have a lot of people within my own family, I see that, they are being offered quite a lot of very lucrative deals just because they're auditing some very expensive firms as well for that matter. And how do you keep a balance or a check on all of those people who are out there auditing and making sure that they're not going to be bribed by the other firms so that there's no, kind of other content happening under the table?
So first, going back to that, the examination system.
Yeah, the graduation
In
part.
ACCA, it's very clear. They have to achieve a certain competency and reflect that in exam, and you are passed with the exam, right? So there
It's
is
not
no,
like a fixed number.
there is no fixed number there. And going to the point of time, and we are not talking about GDP growth right now.
Short, you said?
Short.
Oh, okay.
We do
Never
not
knew
have
that.
enough qualified accountant to really support the compliance, taxation, and the business growth which is required, the documentation of economy. We don't have those people right now.
Right.
A lot of people are using the degrees, or the people are at job who are not ready for it, or who are not competent or qualified for that
BSc
role.
finance,
So
yeah.
we have got a lot of shortage in Pakistan and globally as well.
Okay.
Australia is short by 110,000 people. Right?
What? So very quickly, just adding to that as well. I was reading.
my other questions left.
I know
I'll
he
come
was
to
Yeah,
that
yeah.
code of
adding to-
ethics as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was reading, correct me if I'm wrong, that 1,300 to 1,400 members are to be inducted in ACCA from Pakistan every year. Is this a set number, or does it just so happen?
No, it's basically how many people become members. So
Oh,
we have
right.
got the year 2000 new
Got it.
members which comes to Pakistan, or they qualify and become a member. It's a journey, so they have to pass exams, they have to pass EPSM, Ethics and Professional Skill module, and complete the training.
Yeah.
Got
Coming back to ethics side, that's why we talk about the regulated profession.
Yeah.
This is a regulated profession, and if somebody does something which is unethical and it's get reported, regardless at what level, they are member or they are student, their qualification is gone.
That's
And it's
it.
very
Oh.
difficult for them to get back to the
But
profession.
only if
It's
it gets
such a-
reported, no? That's what I'm saying. That
Most of the time, these complaints get reported.
Okay. Of
And
course.
interestingly, if even that get reported 5 years from now or 10 years from now, it has got a similar impact. So
Wow.
there's a complete disciplinary
Oh.
action around the professional accountants.
and it's all based on merit. I think that's wonderful.
There's a disciplinary hearing, there's the complete process, evidences, and all that. But most of the time, the decision in case of ACCA, within 4 months,
Station, and I think it was so good to know that we actually need more people from professional accounting as well, with degrees with professional accounting. And imagine that there's a 40,000 people which are actually required every single year. Well, as of
Lakh,
now,
yes.
as of now, we require more 40,000 people to come and be a part of such firms as well. And imagine that we're short on that as well. And not just in Pakistan, all over the world, there's a shortage. So I think that wherever there is shortage, that's where people really need to focus. I
Right.
think it's the right time. If you think that you have it, please make sure that you go for it.
Absolutely. I think this was a very informative segment, Shahzad. But now, don't you feel like, well, the first time we looked at Mr. Sajid when he came in our office, we felt like he was an accountant, right? The way he was dressed up and his attire. I mean, I feel like there's a certain look or a certain persona to every career path that you choose.
Yeah.
And like he said, I mean, ethics is a part of his job as well. Looking like what you are is a
It's like, we were in conversation with Mr. Sajid as well, and we spoke about how, that they go to different places and do audits. I think every person is supposed to do their own audit by
absolutely.
themselves as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is something which we'll be focusing on in the next segment. Let's see whether our audit goes very well or not. So, this is something we are going to do after a break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Good morning.
तेरे गुलजार कश्मीर है याद है हमको हमने आज़ाद
Welcome back to Well This Morning, ladies and gentlemen, with the very dapper-looking Shahzad
Thank
Khan
you.
and myself, Shiza Hashmi. So here's the thing. I think we need to talk about this. It's literally like we need to talk about Kevin. But Kevin, in this case, happens to be how we dress for
Yeah.
different occasions. And Shahzad, it does leave whenever we hear about, first impression lasts forever, it's not that they're going to think about how you treated them. It is probably, I mean, I don't know what Shahzad is. The Shahzad in my head is going to be how you were looking, how you
Exactly.
were dressed, or how your shoes or your hair or your face was for that matter.
Exactly.
Is it the same with you?
Yes, exactly. It is the same with me as well, ladies and gentlemen. You cannot still be investing on what you've built already. I think everybody needs to invest on what the future holds. And this is what we want to talk about as well, because we spoke about ACCA and professional accounting and how people really need to prepare for that. But I think that the most important aspect is how you prepare your own self or how you get ready for an interview.
Absolutely.
So what we're going to do is that since we're very lucky that we've actually been joined by somebody who happens to be a celebrity image consultant and wardrobe consultant as well.
And a celebrity himself now.
Yeah, and celebrity himself. He's from New York all the way, and he's over here in Pakistan. Every news channel, every media house is covering him as well. They're inviting him over so that everybody can get the best out of him. So without any further ado, we're not going to drag the conversation BBS and have to go for a house job. How should I get ready? Things like that. So we're going to give him scenarios and he will let us know. So please make sure that you have your pen and book with yourself as well so that you can write.
Absolutely.
So ladies and gentlemen, we're very lucky that we've actually been joined by the one and only over here in Pakistan, a wardrobe consultant. He is Mr. Hamid Saeed. Hello, assalamu alaikum, good morning.
Good morning, sir. Good morning.
So thank you very much for joining us, and it's wonderful to have you, and it's an honor to have you on our show.
Thank you for having me here.
So
Thank you
first
very
things first, how
Yes.
are we looking?
Yeah,
We need
always a
your approval.
dapper look. I mean, I love DB, double-breasted.
Yeah.
And I think what you did is double-breasted must be, when you wear that, the button must be closed, so
Yeah.
you're doing the right thing there.
Thank you very
The
much.
buttons are closed. okay.
Yeah, and I still remember the white collar, but I never got the chance to go out and shop for myself, so
yes.
it's all right. I'm going to hold it back as well.
Okay.
So very quickly, let's start. So for somebody who actually is going for an interview as a banker,
Yes,
and
yes.
they want a job in a bank, how do you...
Get in front of somebody, before you say a single word out of your mouth, the first impression is that, you are saying a lot about yourself.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So few things, let's summarize those things. The first thing that people look at you is then they decide like, okay, what socioeconomic level you belong to.
Yeah.
I mean, philosophically, should we do it, should we not? I mean, that could
That's
be
an
another
ethical
debate.
question.
But we do.
Yeah.
Okay, so do we belong from a, upper segment of the society or middle or lower or whatever? So, and the other thing that we notice on people is that how successful they are.
Yeah.
So if you are going for a job interview, if you don't look successful, I mean, who's going to hire somebody who looks unsuccessful?
Absolutely.
But how can you be successful if you're going for a job interview already?
To look,
Okay,
to give that
looking
illusion
successful.
probably.
Well, you have, gone through, education, and you have spent a lot of years, and probably you're at the top of your game. So your third thing is how confident that you look.
Confidence
I mean,
is
people
everything.
are always looking for like, would you hire somebody who doesn't look confident?
Of course not. Of
Of
course
course
not.
not. So you must look confident, and then obviously you're educated, so you must look educated.
Yeah.
I mean, this is like a very no-brainer kind of a thing, and then also you must look professional, competent, knowledgeable.
Right.
Having said that, I just want to share a stat with you. that the third biggest reason why people don't get selected for a job or don't get hired is because of their poor appearance.
Okay.
So you must look. Now you said about banker. Now banker is, it's a serious business, right? I mean, you're going to be dealing with people's money. So I think in your, whatever attire you are wearing, you must look trustworthy and credible.
Okay.
If you don't look trustworthy and credible, if I'm a bank, I'm not going to hire you because I would say this guy doesn't look trustworthy and credible. And my clients and you look trustworthy, credible, you must look successful because you're dealing with people's money. So if you look unsuccessful, who's going to deposit
No one's going to believe
money with you?
So how do we look trustworthy?
Okay, that's a very good point. How do you look trustworthy and credible? White shirt, we talked about in the last segment there.
Is
White
it
shirt-
welcoming?
Yes, white shirt means trust me, white shirt means honest, white shirt means credible, white shirt means sophisticated, white shirt mean, I'm polished, I'm refined. So I think white shirt will do the trick.
Okay.
And then darker suits.
Okay.
So I would say if you are going for a banking, which is a kind of a financial job, this and that. So you will look, you need to wear darker suits, white shirt, and a power tie.
Yeah.
Okay,
That
that
is-
is
And
really
you're wearing a
interesting.
power tie today as well.
Yes, and so are you. I mean, the rep ties.
It looks
you know?
nice, but I think you're absolutely right where you said it's all about confidence.
Yes.
Because that is how. Now, spoke about still sticking to the banking part. You spoke about if you were to go for an interview, but since everything is online now, would
Right.
you say the same thing goes for an online interview?
Absolutely, because look, I mean, online you're visible. I mean,
Yeah.
people. I always say that people are blind and you're not invisible. So I would say even online, I mean, you have to look the part.
So what I mean to say is the science of colors works the
Yes.
same like in person and online. I don't know-
Absolutely, like white shirt will still show as white shirt if you're wearing a darker suit.
And
darker
have the
suit,
same impact.
Absolutely,
Okay,
the
okay.
combination is going to just look the same.
Got it.
Exactly, and that's wonderful as well because you're giving an online interview so that you can probably be there physically later on. So you
Yes.
really need to work on that appearance of yours as well, which is important. Now we do speak about professions like bankers
Right,
and doctors
right,
as well.
right.
We're going to come back to that.
Okay.
But what about people who
Yes.
they're already very worried whether they're going to get a job or not? So how do you think that a student who's a fresh graduate needs to dress up for any interview?
Right.
Because
Because
confusion-
then it's just so hard to, kind of make sure that, okay, what kind of field I'm going to look into.
Right.
Over here in Pakistan, whatever you get in the first place, you make sure that you're going to get it, get your hands onto it.
Well, I mean, I always promote that you must look professional. And I always say this also, wherever you're interviewing, you should research the company.
Yes.
Go on their website, go on their Facebook, look at people who are there, look at the CEO, how he's dressed, look at, people who are working there, because that will give you kind of what kind of a dress culture they have.
it,
Exactly.
Because, you don't want to, like, let's say, for example, if you are working for an IT company and you go in there, you don't want to go there in a double-breasted suit and three-piece suit and pocket square and all that.
Okay.
I mean, I think it's going to be kind of overdressing for that. However, I would say this, that don't go, who don't wear suits and all that, I would recommend use a blazer, a blazer, a nice pair of slacks, pants, trousers, whatever you want to call it, and then nice shirt. I mean, you
Polo
don't have
shirt?
to wear a tie. Not a polo shirt.
Okay.
I will go dress.
Okay.
I mean, the idea here is that you go a notch above.
Okay.
I mean, and the other thing I suggest is that you always,
seen one in a polo.
whatever position that you are, interviewing for, go for 2 levels above that
Okay.
position and dress that way.
Oh,
You know why?
this is an
Because the
interesting tip.
management will start looking at you like you are a management material.
Yeah.
So you want to give them that kind of signals that, hey, I mean,
So you're already doing well in your job.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's
exactly.
interesting. Very
And
nice.
it's wonderful. And, adding on to that as well, I think what is more important is that, over here, at times what happens is that, since we're talking about confidence and since we're talking about credibility and honesty as well, now what, they just forget to dress up then. They're like, okay, I have my skill set with me and that's all I require.
You have a
What's
radar.
your advice?
You have radar. I was going to just make this point.
Okay. Really?
And
Okay.
believe me, it took the words out of my mouth. This is a very big mistake people make. They have this suit, they get a job, and then they just put that suit in the closet, and they never look it back there. And they come in their true colors.
Yeah.
What I call it a huge mistakes.
Okay.
Because the top management is always looking to develop their team, and they're looking for, they have only 2 functions, to grow their business and to develop their talent.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they are looking for people who are, they look the part. So if, let's say, you come in and they hired you, and after that you forget about this, and then you very sloppy, messy shovel, I tell you something, you are killing the chances of your promotion.
Oh, yeah.
So I would say that you should keep it up, upgrade it, but the wardrobe doesn't get
It never
upgraded.
does.
Never got.
It never
And that
does.
creates a huge problem. A lot of qualified people, very, very qualified people, are left behind because they don't upgrade their look.
Exactly.
Right, and thank you so much for saying that, Mr. Hamid, because right now I did want to talk about, well, Pakistan's specific wardrobes and whatnot,
Okay.
because yes, the ideas that we are discussing right now, they may set well with the Gen Z to come up, or the millennials for that
Yes,
matter,
yes.
but for the boomers, sorry to use these terms,
All right.
but for our elders, I don't think they're really open to the idea, and I'll try to explain it even better. Let's talk about the Sarkari Idare,
Okay.
because I use the term because
Right.
it's a proper system over here.
Right,
If you talk, I mean, their looks, their, ethics
Public
for that,
institutions,
everything,
right.
public institute. Thank you. No one has the common decency to even think about probably going to work in a proper work. Absolutely great if I'm dressed for it as well. Don't you feel so? So let's talk about Pakistan's mentality and how people can actually adopt onto this.
Things are changing. I got great news for you because recently, I don't know whether you know this, there's a notification that all teachers, at least in Punjab,
Yeah.
they have to start wearing, for women, it's like certain dress code.
Okay.
And then for men, they have to wear shirt, tie, and a trouser. I think the campaign I started about 3 years ago, 2.5 years ago in Pakistan, Dress for Success, I think is making some impact.
Is it? Wow. Oh, that's
And then
nice.
also I tell you this, that I'm getting a lot of calls, and I am part of many public, institutions, training centers, CSS, Civil Service Academy. I am training, all the, they call them probationers, how to dress. And similar thing is, just had a meeting with HEC, Higher Education, Corporation, whatever you should address. Actually, I just did
I think I'm
a
glad that
whole
they're doing that.
segment
Right,
on
I'm so happy.
with professor. So there's a whole movement going on in Pakistan right now, which is a great news. And I think that, if God willing, give us about 5 years, and I think we're going to see a lot of people very well dressed.
I love the fact, Shazad, that our premier actually, I mean, he's
Dresses very well.
Yes, even on his
He's a
casual days,
good-looking
he's
man.
just sitting in his lawn, playing with his dogs, but he's wearing a Ralph Lauren polo t-shirt, and it looks nice. I mean, I absolutely love people who, regardless of their age or whatever
Right.
the kind of job, they love to dress up.
Exactly.
It speaks a lot.
Which is why, this is something which I'm going to ask, since we're very short on time as well, and we have to wrap up this segment.
Yeah.
And ladies and gentlemen, the best part is that Mr. Hamid is actually going to be a regular on our show as
Yes.
well.
So if you have
we'll
any
keep him-
queries.
we'll make sure that, he's on his toes always, and, he's a part of our show as well.
Absolutely.
Now, I'm going to come down
Bring him
to
on.
that. I want to share with all our audiences out there. Since I've had a lot of experience of working with private channels, ladies and gentlemen, believe me, that our MCR staff and the cameramen, the way they dress up over here in PTV, I can bet on this, that nowhere else you will actually see them so well dressed as well. This is one thing which I can bet on. I've been to private channels where the cameramen would actually have chalia and whatnot in their mouths as well. You need to come down to PTV
Really?
and see how well everybody's dressed up over here, even
Absolutely.
behind the camera. Sir, ये आप लोगों की तारीफ है और ये जायज तारीफ है. So very quickly, sir, as a
And
celebrity,
I'm gonna even upgrade them further.
Inshallah.
Because
Yes, you
how
have-
does a producer at CNN look?
Yeah.
I mean, cameraman, and I think we're gonna bring that into-
exactly, and inshallah, one day people at CNN will be talking about how do producer over here in PTV looks. I think that's
Absolutely,
wonderful.
absolutely.
But sir, very quickly,
Yeah.
since we, alhamdulillah, happen to be celebrities, different
Right,
platforms
absolutely.
where we have to go. At times, our choice is very blingy. At times, we are very dull. At times, we are very colorful. So, how do we strike the right balance, if you are appearing in front of a large gathering?
I think that each one of you should have a signature look.
Yeah.
And the signature look means not the same garment. Actually, what it means is that 5 pieces of dressing, which I've covered last time, it should be in the coloration that is compatible to
capsule
you.
wardrobe.
And it should be according to your physique and according to your position and profession, all that. And then you should have lifestyle clothing. In other words, you might be invited for a dinner.
Okay.
And then you might be invited for a lunch. So I would say that if we follow those kind of principles and put the whole wardrobe together
Yes.
with different, occasions that you have to attend, then I think we can put a very optimal wardrobe for you.
Wow, wonderful.
Oh, all right, that's great. Although we're short on time, I really wanted to ask him what
Absolutely.
one line is probably.
All right.
Sorry.
Well, the signature look is because you said that, and whether we like it or not, I mean, that's the way people look at it, and, it's a celebrity status. So I would say that, the glamour has to be there. trendy, I
Okay.
mean, a little bit on the cutting edge fashion. I mean, because that's what we represent. So I would like to see that. But more importantly, I think that the colors play a huge part. Sometimes we may tend to wear some colors which are not the best on us. So I would say your signature look would be, I would, because you have the physique to carry it. I wanna see that a very sophisticated, refined, polished look, no matter where you go.
Yeah.
And as far as you are concerned, I mean, you always present yourself very, very, I would say eloquently,
Thank you.
elegant and all that. So I would see that you have.
And I think you chose
I
very
Wonderful.
safe words as well. You're very smart in that way. Thank you so much. So, ladies and gentlemen, here's the thing. We love to sort of share tips with you that will improve you in any way possible. And like Shazad mentioned, Hamid Saab is going to be a part of our show regularly. On and off, you are going to be having segments with him.
Yep,
So,
yes.
if you have any queries about how to present yourself. Regardless of the fact where you're going, you have to write to us to let us know, and we'll definitely put your questions on to him. On our Facebook page with the name of,
World This Morning.
on Twitter,
World This Morning without a G.
on YouTube.
On YouTube, you look for PTV World, and then the most viewed show on PT World is World This Morning, alhamdulillah.
Yes, and the repeat of this one you can catch at
5 past midnight. Till the next time, ladies and gentlemen, please make sure that you look dapper, interesting, and confident as well. 1, 2, 3. Good morning.
Take care.
Just congratulate him for the kind of work he's done. And that too, our premier being a sports person, ladies and gentlemen, or a sportsman for that matter, I think that we can do quite a lot for all of these gentlemen who are making sure that they're going to bring good name to Pakistan.
Absolutely. And on this note, we are going to, close the show for today. And it's going to be off for you.
Yes.
If you have any questions, any feedback, do write to us to let us know on our Facebook page with the
World
name
This
of,
Morning.
on Twitter,
World This Morning without a G.
on YouTube.
On YouTube, you look for PT World, and then the most viewed show, alhamdulillah, on PT World is World This Morning.
Yes, and the repeat of this one you may catch at
5 past midnight. Till the next time, ladies and gentlemen, look after yourselves. 1, 2, 3. Good
morning.
morning.
Take
Jummah
care.
Mubarak.
क्विकली हम परफॉर्मेंस पे बढ़ने से पहले आपने भी तो पीटीवी के लिए एक शो किया था जिसमें पैनल का हिस्सा थे, मशवरा मुफ्त है। सना उसकी एंकर थी, तो वो एक्सपीरियंस कैसा रहा, कितने मशवरे दिए?
वो बहुत अच्छा था और मैं उसमें कोशिश करता था मशवरा दूं।
अच्छा,
कोई ना कोई जो
बेहतरीन देखो मैं कौन सा लफ्ज उर्दू गलत बोल रही हूँ, बेहतरीन मशवरा कौन सा था?
बेहतरीन मशवरा तो नहीं, उसका वाकया बहुत अच्छा है कि उसमें खर साहब मेहमान आए थे।
अच्छा।
गुलाम मुस्तफा खर साहब।
ठीक है।
मैंने कहा खर साहब हमारा लड़कपन था, आपकी जवानी थी, तो आप माशाल्लाह काली उसमें गाड़ी में गुजरते थे।
Still positives for Pakistan, like Usman Shinwari, who bowled well in third ODI, and Junaid Khan has come back well, with young Hasnan bowling well. Sir Mahmood said there were a couple of places up for grabs for the World Cup, for which Pakistan have tried some players as potential options.
Correct. Beat Orakzai United by 22 runs, while in the second semi-final played at Bajor Sports Complex, Khyber Green outplayed a combined